Does equipping an artifact cause it to not take up an artifact slot? I've got 140 out of 140. Take the artifact off. 141 out of 140. Put the artifact on. And I'll put an artifact on her. 139 out of 140. Just like with gear, you can use units as artifact mules to take space, to give yourself space back. That's why I have got all of my doggos fully geared, because 700 gear, I slap a piece of gear on a doggo, $6.99. My doggos are just gear mules. This is the old school way we used to store gear. Before we had this storage section and additional slots, we all used to gear 1 and 2 star units to take up space. And this is an interesting trick if you are really strapped for gear and it's not an unequip event. We're in the middle of where taking gear off costs gold, right? This is what you do. You go into your summons, and you swing down here to friendship summons. Okay? You buy a chunk of these, and then you do a 10 summon, and you get some 2-star monsters. Okay? Now that you got those 2-star monsters, you go and find them on your list, and it's pretty easy to find. Just sort by 2 stars, and here's a 2-star monster, and you go manage equipment. And before we start, I want you guys to remember this. We have 699. Barely any room to farm. Okay? So we go into our 2-star monster. You can manage equipment, recommend equipment, confirm. Okay, boom. Just putting random gear on them. Doesn't matter what gear. We're just stashing gear to create space to free up some room. And as we do that, 687 out of 700. We just stashed 12 pieces of gear. But you're thinking, well, yeah, Wulf, that's a great way to get rid of this gear, to store this gear, so now I can pull 20 more pieces of gear. But how do I get the gear off those stupid 2-star monsters? It costs gold to unequip them, right? I mean, and you're right. I want to go in here and unequip all this gear. It's going to cost 282,000 gold to unequip this 2-star monster. There's a cheat. There's a trick. Transmit them. Sell all those 2-star monsters, transmit them, boom, they're gone. But what happened to the gear? Did I just get rid of my gear? Nope, it automatically unequips them for free and puts the gear back in your inventory. So if it's a buff event and you don't have room, summon a bunch of 2-star monsters, shove all the gear onto those 2-star monsters, farm the hell out of the event, and don't have to constantly be managing your gear and figuring out where to put stuff. And then once you've managed your gear and the event's over, and you're ready to go back to sorting your gear, transmit those monsters, and boom, the gear comes off of your units and goes back into your inventory for free. Yeah, this is the trick Smilegate doesn't want you to know. So there you go. It's free, instant storage, and it's really, really nice when you are trying to complete some level and you've taken gear off of units and you suddenly don't have room, but you need to re-gear another unit and you're constantly like, crap, I guess I'll put it in the shop and go find it later to put back where it belongs. Just stash the gear on 2 stars, then transmit the 2 stars to get the gear back when you're ready. So the number of you guys saying wow in chat makes me think this is not well known, so I'm happy I showed you a clever trick. This was old school. This was how
I'm going to get Arona from the shop if I don't pull her from the event. Is this build good for her? Link.
Yeah, we'll look at that in just a second. But yeah, but before this storage became a thing, this is how all of us stashed our excess gear back in the day. It was with 2-star monsters, and then when we would find a piece of gear that we needed, we would go and we would build our unit, and when we found oh, I needed this piece on her, I go, okay, it's on this monster. We go transmit that monster, free up that gear, put put the gear on Abigail, then we pull a new monster and put all the storage gear back on the monster. That was our rotating storage, and it's still one of my preferred ways to store things rather than shoving everything in the shop when I'm trying to do Abyss or Holotrials or something where all of my gear winds up cluttering my inventory, or when we roll into a hunt buff event where I'm just trying to get as much gear as I can, and I don't want to have to every time I restart my runs to have to go in and immediately manage my gear. My gear gets full, I pull some monsters, I put the gear on the monsters, I go right back into hunting. Hopefully this helped you guys out with your gear storage issues. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a great rest of your week, Epic 7.